Same blueprint, different results. What makes the difference? Same blueprint, different results. What makes the difference? This is a question I ask myself frequently because, as a mentor, we've worked with over 10,000 coaches at this point. My intention is I would love for every single student to be successful. However, like all that I can do and all that Cole can do is provide the blueprint, the game plan, the step-by-step process, and it's up for the people to execute and implement. So I always ask myself, same blueprint, different results, what makes the difference? And I want to go a layer deeper, and I want you guys to think about how come two people can be raised in the exact same household, with the exact same parents, with very similar circumstances, and one of the people ends up going on to be massively successful, and then the other one turns into a drug addict. Same blueprint, different results. What makes the difference there? Why is it that there's some people that just always seem to find a pathway to success and other people that always seem to find a pathway to failure, even when they both are presented with the same plan? One word, two words. Emotional intelligence. And my definition of emotional intelligence is very simple. It is the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence your own emotions. Recognize, understand, manage, and influence your own emotions. And because you have the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence your own emotions, you also possess the ability to influence others. Most people are victims of circumstance. Negative thing happens, they're aware of negative thing happening, they talk about negative thing happening, it makes them feel more negative, and because they're just in this negative spiral, they're walking around with this negative energy. Whereas another person sees everything as an opportunity, sees everything as a blessing, is just filled with just gratitude every day, and they're running into the same circumstances, but this person's learning from those circumstances, evolving and growing from the circumstances. This person is stuck here complaining about the same circumstances. Why isn't this working? This always happens to me. Woe is me. Same blueprint, different results, emotional intelligence. When you develop emotional intelligence, this gives you persuasiveness and gives you the ability to emotionally influence others, and this is the key to success. Now, there are many, many, many words that we use to describe emotions, right? There's frustration, there's anger, there's sadness, there's grief, there's depression, there's happiness, there's joy, there's love, there's prosperity. But at the end of the day, it comes down to two things. There's only two emotions. And every other emotion is a representation of these two emotions. Dad bod Steve.
Love and fear.
Boom, baby! First time. Dad bod Steve, love and fear. Are you absolutely afraid of what's coming around the corner? Are you nervous about what's coming next? Are you anxious that you're going to fail? Are you nervous that this client said no to you? Are you scared that your clients are dropping off? Are you afraid that you're not going to be able to grow? When you post on social media, do you think that nobody's going to reach out? Or are you excited about the opportunity of posting on social media? Are you excited to serve your clients? Do you absolutely love giving value to your people? Do you absolutely love pouring into people? Do you absolutely love when a client messages you on fire because that means that you get to help them transform your life? So my question for you guys today, where are you? My question for you is, where are you? And I'm not talking about physically, because obviously you're in this room. But my question for you is, where are you? What is the fundamental place that you operate from? What is the baseline emotion that you walk around with on a day-to-day basis? And I'm not talking about the version of you that you present on social media, the version of you that you present when you're in the room, the version of you that you present in front of your clients or your friends or your family. I'm talking about the version of you that's driving in the car by yourself with your thoughts, and it's just you alone by yourself. Where are you? Are you in fear or are you in love? Where are you? Now, most of us are in this room and we're aware of this, right? Which is why, who here does a morning routine? Raise your hand. Most of us are aware of this, okay? So most of us understand this, which is why we spend, that 15 to 30 minutes a day getting ourselves into a good state. You do your affirmations, you do your journals, your morning rituals, so you can start your day in a positive place and get yourself into a positive emotion. Most of us understand this, but sometimes, I'm going to be honest, a lot of people still pick this up. Raise your hand if I'm not going to judge you, right? So even though we know how important it is, most of us don't even commit to that stuff, right? But you are so much more complex than that. So here you are every single day and you're writing in your journal, I am grateful, I am happy, I am abundant, I am the one, right? But it's not just, this is the thing, okay? Where you are has a little bit to do with this present moment, but it has a lot to do with every single one of the present moments that's led you up to this moment right now. It has a lot to do with the that you dealt with in your childhood that you haven't fully faced that always surfaces every time you're faced with a similar situation. It has a lot to do with the past that you bury deep beneath that you feel shame about, that you don't want to come to the surface, and every time it is about to come to the surface, you shut down, you feel shame, and you retreat. It has a lot to do with the experiences that led you to who you are today. So here you are, screaming at the mountaintops, I'm amazing, I'm the best, I'm the one, but then you've got these feelings that are buried deep down inside of you that you ignore, that you pretend aren't there, and those feelings bubble themselves up and find their way into your life, whether or not you like it. You cannot try to change the place that you are by just focusing on doing 30 minutes of affirmations and gratitude every single day. You cannot. You will not change your default emotional state, and my definition of default emotional state, it is the state that you walk around with on a day-to-day basis. And I'm proud to say, and I'm happy to say, that I'm absolutely in love with life. Ask my wife, okay? I would say once or twice a day, I just go around the kitchen and I'm like, yes! Thank you! Thank you, universe, for giving me life. Thank you for giving me breath. Thank you for the abundance that I live in. Thank you! And that didn't come because I did 30 minutes of affirmations and positive attitudes and la-di-da every single day. That came because I started focusing on that's beneath the surface. And because I dealt with the beneath the surface and I did the deep, deep internal work on my shadow self, the part of me that I was trying to hide away from the world, I'm able to walk around freely without feeling the guilt and shame from my past anymore. I let it all go. And now I'm free. And it's fucking great. You cannot change your default emotional state by doing 30 minutes of affirmations per day. Psychologists agree that 80 to 90% of your personality is shaped and developed by the time you are 18. 80%. And so we get into personal development and we decide that we're going to start changing our life. And consciously, that 10% that's above the surface, we're focusing on doing all the great things, right? We're like trying to do the affirmations and we're trying to show up for coaching calls and we're trying to post content. We're focusing on other things. We have 80 to 90% of our personality that we're not addressing, dealing with, spending time focusing on. 80 to 90% by the time you turn 18. And here you are, trying to change your life with 30 minutes of positive affirmations per day. You're trying to undo 25 to 30 to 40 years of trauma with 30 minutes of affirmations per day. That's fucking insane. It's also insane, by the way. I'm not saying I don't believe in morning rituals. In fact, I think that the morning ritual is what led me to like the deep inner stuff because I was doing the morning rituals, I was doing this morning rituals, and I was still self-sabotaging. I was still frustrated. I was still doubting myself. I was still full of fear and I was still afraid that I was going to fail. And so I knew that that wasn't enough. So I had to go deeper. But I wanted to go on a side rant because dude, don't miss on your morning ritual. Never miss because you've got 18 to 25 to 40 years to make up for, right? And I'm telling you this, okay? I'm telling you this. The thing that makes the difference between somebody that makes it and somebody that doesn't is they are emotionally intelligent. They are aware of their own emotions. They do not allow themselves to be consumed by their own emotions, and they're able to navigate through very difficult experiences with a clear, level-headed perspective. That's why Cole and I got our gym shut down, illegally, by the way, no big deal. And within 3 months, we built the biggest gym in Kelowna from scratch. It's great. I agree. That's how I feel. Now, the cool thing about me and Cole is we have different approaches to the same destination, but we have a very similar mindset. He likes to beat the shit out of himself and other people to get himself to this place. I have a different perspective. I'm like, take me to the universe, but that's besides the point. Different perspective, same destination. Let's look at it like this, okay? So you've got a clock, all right? You've got 24 hours. 24 hours in your day, right? Well, we sleep 8, unless you're Cole and you sleep 4. So you have 16 hours that you are awake throughout the day, okay? 16 waking hours. And you're not just dealing with you and your conscious mind. There's 16 hours of you and your subconscious mind, which is 93% of your personality awake for the 16 hours of the day, okay? So here's what most people do. Morning routine, raise your hand. So most people do a morning routine because they know it's important. So you're doing 30 minutes of positive and constructive thought throughout the day, which is pretty good. However, what about the other 15.5 hours? Most people view personal development from this lens of, I'm going to do the work when I'm focused on the work. I'm going to do the morning routine when I'm focused on the morning routine. And then you forget to take the principles in throughout the day. And so you get 3 no's in a row on your sales calls. And all of a sudden you're like, nobody's buying. Content isn't hitting on social media. You're like, no matter what I post, my content just doesn't hit. You're not growing as fast as you want to, and you're like, I'll never be successful because there's other people that have been in the program for the same time as me, and I still haven't gotten success yet. And so even though you're doing your 30 minutes of positive and constructive thought throughout the day, the 15.5 hours, you're letting your mind wander and tell you all these different stories about who you are and what you're capable of and what your potential is. And all of these stories are fabricated because they're based on our past experience. So that inner voice that you keep listening to is just your past self telling you what you're capable of. But what does your past self know? It's not where you are right now. 15.5 hours in the day that you are awake. When you get a no, get in a sales call and somebody's like, no. How do you feel? Are you aware of how you feel in that moment? When you're driving by yourself in your car down the highway and there's nobody in the room except you and your thoughts, what are you saying to yourself? When you're getting dressed in the mirror and you look at yourself and you're able to be aware of you looking at yourself, do you catch the thoughts that are going on in your head? When something happens that's extremely stressful, and listen, I get it. I deal with stress too. When something happens that's stressful, what are the thoughts that are going on in your head? What are the words coming out of your mouth? I never say words out of my mouth that will damage my creation, ever. And if I do, I correct myself quickly and I move on. I also do not gossip about other people, because why would I say this person sucks, this person blah, blah, blah? I'm literally creating that in my reality. I only speak, think, act, and move in alignment with the person that I'd like to become. This is the real work. When someone does you wrong and you can't stop talking about it, and trust me, I've done this. These are principles that I fully believe in with 100% of my heart, and I still actively practice on a day-to-day basis because I'm a human. Sometimes I make mistakes. But when somebody wrongs you or does you wrong or whatever, how much do you talk about it? Because every single time you talk about it, you're just creating it. Client drops off your program 3 months in, even though you helped them lose 20 pounds. And then you're like, this client, this person, I did all this for them. Why are you getting yourself into this place? Why not just stay over here? Are you in fear or are you in love? Where are you? Let me break this down for you very simply. You cannot expect to change your entire life with 30 minutes of positive and constructive thought per day. You cannot. It is impossible. It will not happen. Especially when you are working on unbecoming all of the beliefs, habits, rituals, and routines from your past self. This isn't about becoming who you were meant to be. This is about unbecoming who you thought you were. You cannot expect to change your life with 30 minutes of positive and constructive thought when you are awake for 15.5 hours of the day, and those other 15.5 hours, like Terry said, you're not aware, you're not working on, you're not constructing, you're not changing the perspective, you're not reflecting on your own emotions. Because you're not just dealing with your emotions from that day. You're dealing with your emotions from all of this that you buried deep beneath the surface, that you don't want to come up, that you don't want to deal with, that you're upset about. All of those is what you're dealing with. So I'll ask you again, where are you? And this exercise isn't for me. This is for you to honestly take a look in the mirror, and I want you to self-reflect and give yourself an honest answer. And I don't think it's possible to be all love, and I also don't think it's possible to be all fear. I believe it happens on a sliding scale. We're either closer to fear or closer to love. Where are you? Do you identify with any of these emotions on a daily or regular basis? Anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, frustration, guilt, shame, jealousy, envy, loneliness, resentment, fear, despair, grief, disgust, embarrassment, bitterness, insecurity, overwhelm. Any of you guys identify with any of these emotions? Me too, because I'm a human. I think that the problem that we face is that most people, when they're feeling these emotions, try to just get back down there. Ignoring the fact that they exist, pretending they don't exist, not giving them the attention and the love that they deserve. And as a result, you're burying it beneath the surface. But what you don't realize is that you can't bury your emotions. They always come out in a way that you don't mean them to. And I've done this. I've done this to Kirsten, where I'm like really stressed out about work. I'm really upset about something and I'm holding it inside of me and I'm just trying to pretend that everything's okay. And then she comes to check up on me. I'm like, leave me alone. And she was like, whoa. And I'm like, sorry, like that wasn't directed at you. I'm dealing with this and I didn't properly process, deal with, manage, and navigate through this. Most people feel these emotions and they pretend they don't exist. And they try to bury them below their affirmations. I am powerful. I am worthy. I am enough. But meanwhile, you're in your head thinking, I'm a loser, I have this going on, like I'm not gonna make this, etc., etc., etc. Does this make sense? I don't pretend that my emotions don't exist. I'm aware of all of my emotions, and no matter what emotion I am feeling, I channel it, I use it, because I am the captain of my ship, I am the master of my soul, and I decide the destination that I'm going to end up at. And so if I'm feeling any sort of emotion, whether that be anger, fear, resentment, frustration, overwhelm, anxiety, I'm aware of those emotions, and I choose to use those emotions and channel those emotions and give myself the love and compassion that I deserve. This is also really important because most people, what they do with trying to change their life, right? I want to develop a positive mindset. So most people, when they're developing a positive mindset, they're like, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to end up here. And so what they do is they pretend that they're there already. I'm happy, best day of my life. That's what Brian says. Best day of my life. It's great. It actually is the best day of my life. I'm happy, but they're not there yet. They're actually over here. And so they're trying to get here, but they're not here. But because they're not admitting to themselves that they're not here and they're pretending they're here, they're not actually able to see what they need to do in order to go from here to here. Before we drive on a road, okay, we need to know where are we right now and where are we going. Most people are not honest with themselves about where they are right now. And if you are not honest with yourself about where you are right now, it's going to be impossible to get to where you want to be because you will have no roadmap because you're pretending you're already there. Does that make sense? Awesome. Most people do this, right? I am healthy. I am wealthy. 30 minutes a day, right? That's what they do. They're screaming to the top of the mountain. I'm awesome. Everything's amazing. Everything I touch turns to gold. Most people do this. Underneath the surface, your subconscious personality for 15.5 hours a day feels guilty, feels lonely. You feel sad. You feel like it's not going to work. You get frustrated. You get overwhelmed easily. When something happens, you don't have a good handle on your emotions, and so you get triggered. Right? When your content isn't hitting, you get frustrated, you get upset, you get annoyed, and then you go to do content again, but you're doing it from this frustrated, annoyed, sad, lonely, angry place, and your content comes out because you're not coming at it from a good place. Okay, I get it, Brian. I understand you're smart, handsome, and cool, but what does this have to do with my success or failure in life? The world without is the reflection of the world within, which is why Cole and I are able to stand here and speak greatness into you guys, because we have seen it in ourselves, and so it's easy for me to see it in you. The world without is a reflection of the world within. This is why I can confidently look at Kenny and say, like, I know for a fact he's going to be one of the best fighter coaches in the entire world. Because I said that to myself, I believed it, and because I believed it, I became it, and now I'm able to speak that into others. And so, Terry, that was beautiful, and I completely agree, because when you become truly self-aware and you are not a victim to your own emotions, but you are the master of your captain of the ship and the master of your soul, you're able to speak greatness into other people because you're able to make them aware of things that they don't even see in themselves. There's a deeper layer though. So I ask you again, where are you? Where are you? Where are you right now? There's a deeper layer to this. Where are you? Are you in fear or are you in love? See, most people try to change external circumstances by working with external circumstances. I'm not getting enough leads. I need to send more DMs. My content's not hitting. I need to post more content. My clients aren't getting results. I need to spend more time with my clients. Most people try to change external circumstances by working with external circumstances. But again, where are you? When I was writing this presentation, I burst into tears and I started screaming, yes! Because everything just clicked. Where you are will determine one thing, okay? This is the difference between people that achieve success and people that do not. This is the difference between people that end up going on to impact the world on a big scale and people that nobody will ever get to see their light because they gave up. This is the only thing that actually matters. And when you break it down as simply as this, it's very simple. You're either in scarcity or abundance. Most people try to get to abundance by focusing on all the activities that they think are associated with abundance. Posting more content, sending more DMs. But how many people do you guys know that do all of the things that they're supposed to do and they still haven't gotten the result? Raise your hand if you know somebody that does that. Even though they're doing all the activities that they're supposed to do in order to get to abundance, they still don't get it. Why? Because they're trying to get to abundance by focusing on the external things that will get to abundance, when the solution to getting to abundance is not to go without, it's to go within. It's either coming from fear or it's coming from love, right? Why wouldn't you post on social media? It's free marketing. And you could literally post one video, it gets 1 million views, gets seen by 1 million people. Why wouldn't you do that? Because you're afraid your content's going to suck. Because you're afraid of what people are going to say about you. Because you're afraid of that somebody's going to judge you. The way you get to abundance isn't by focusing on getting to abundance. It's by focusing on getting to love. Because love is abundance. Love is abundance. It's f***ing beautiful. Every day, I literally drive around in my car and I just smile. Life is so good. Think about it. You get to breathe. Fresh air. Your heart's beating in your chest without you thinking about it right now. You've got people in this room that have similar goals, dreams, and aspirations as you. You have the financial means to be able to invest to come to a place like this. I'm sure all of you guys have family that care about you and love you and want you to be successful, want the best for you. Your bodies are healthy. Your minds are healthy. You're self-aware enough to be here. And the world just keeps going on, and we have enough food to eat, and there's water to drink, and there's people that love us, and we got families. Life is good, you know? And when you get to that place and you stay in that place and you're just grateful for that place and you can just live in that place, when you live in that place, good things just happen. They just happen. You have to get yourself into a place where every single day you just operate from love. No matter what people say about you, no matter what people say to you, no matter what happens to you in your business, no matter how many people you over, no matter how jaded you are because something negative happened to you in the past, that's why you gotta do the work, homie. Maybe the reason that you can't get into love is because the last time you got into love, you got hurt bad. And so you're keeping yourself from getting into love because you're afraid of getting back into that emotion. You don't want yourself to be hurt again. And again, I'm not telling you to judge yourself or criticize yourself or blame yourself or get mad at yourself. I'm telling you to become self-aware, to realize that that is the reason that you're not able to be successful, because you walk around with hate in your heart, jadedness in your heart, anger in your heart, frustration in your heart, resentment towards your mom in your heart. Where are you? Isn't that beautiful? That's just beautiful. We don't focus on getting to abundance and then just get to abundance. We focus on getting to a place of love, and then we operate from a place of love with everything that we do. And when we operate from a place of love for everything that we do, good things just happen to us. That's why two people can walk the same pathway. One person's in scarcity, fear, frustration, overwhelm, anxiety. The other person's in a place of positivity, gratitude, love. You know, this world is amazing. Those people are going to have wildly different results. And the only thing that changed is the way that they approach the situation. I f***ing love it. Which means that the more that we focus on doing the deep internal work, I'm talking about you bury deep beneath. I'm talking about the thoughts that you have on a regular basis when nobody's watching. I'm talking about the limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. I'm talking about getting rid of your fear of failure. I'm talking about being willing to say an insane goal that is so far out of reach, but then also believe that it's possible for yourself. Doing that deep internal work to say to yourself, I'm going to become the person that I'm supposed to become. And this is the thing, right? This isn't about becoming, it's about unbecoming. Why? Because when you came out as a baby, Brian, you didn't speak any language. You just came out as a baby, fresh slate, didn't know any language, you weren't perceptive of the world, and then the family that you were born into gave you a set of habits, rituals, routines, gave you the language that you speak, they taught you the language that you speak, and so as you grew up, your personality was formed and you became whatever your environment shaped you into be. Whether that be your family and what they taught you and your environment, the place that you grew up in, you became that. That doesn't mean you are that. You came out as a blank slate. Remember when you were a kid and you didn't have any fear? Walking, running up and down, doing crazy shit. I see Kay doing it all the time. He's a psychopath. He has no fear. He has no fear though. He has no fear. This isn't about becoming, it's about unbecoming. It's about unbecoming your limitations, unbecoming your fear, unbecoming your resentment, unbecoming your anger. And listen, I get it. I've been through some deep, and that deep gave me permission to be angry. And I held on to that permission for a long time. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But this is the thing, remembering who you are, this isn't 30 minutes a day. I'm going to do my thing. I'm a bad bitch 30 minutes a day and then you're negative as for the rest of the day. This is full commitment, no timeline. Full commitment. We don't go half-ass, we go full ass. Full ass all day, every day for the rest of your life. Why the fuck would you not? You do realize that one day you're going to be dead. RIP, no more breaths. And when you die, not only do you leave behind all of the things that you could have done, you're also going to leave behind all of the people that love you right now. And when you pass away, what do you want your family to say about you? What do you want your clients to say about you? What do you want people that you know to say about you? Do you want them to say, oh yeah, that guy was great, but man, he just got in his own way all the time. May you rest in peace. That guy had so much potential. Or are they going to say, that was the person that changed my life? That was the person that I was inspired by. That was my leader. That was somebody that I looked up to. That was somebody that I respected. We have a finite amount of time on this planet and then we are dead. So why the f would you not do everything in your power to be the most powerful version of yourself every single day, nothing held back? That to me is how I want to live my life. Full commitment, no timeline. I remember who I am. The more that we become what we were meant to be in the first place, the more that this actually starts working out for you. And you're going to be driving in your car by yourself like I am, like a little bit of a psychopath sometimes, just bursting into tears, crying and laughing about life. I love you. I'm so proud of you. You've done so good. You're so amazing. I believe in you. You got this. You're the one. You're the messenger. You are him. I love you. Even when I'm sick, my body's shutting down. I'm literally laying in bed. repeating to myself, I love you. I love you. I love you. You're going to be okay. I love you. I love you. I love you. Sounds crazy, but I actually do it. I love you. It does sound crazy, but I do it. Guys, this is about starting to identify with these emotions. I identify with these emotions. Love, joy, gratitude, thank you, peace. Cole's going to be talking about peace tomorrow. Excitement, hope, confidence, pride, amusement, awe, empowerment, compassion, contentment, inspiration, curiosity, affection, trust, fulfillment, aliveness, happiness. The more that we start to identify and become one with and embrace and embody these emotions, the more that we shift our state from one that is fear-based to love-based, and we start to change our perception of reality, the closer we get to abundance. You mean all I have to do is be happy and good things happen? Yep. But you actually have to be it. You can't pretend. You can't put on a face. You can't put on a facade. Because the universe doesn't respond to facades, it responds to your energy. It's whatever energy you're emitting, whatever frequency you're giving out, you get more of it. You guys ever notice when you're having a really bad day, just all of a sudden this bad thing happens, and this bad thing happens, and this bad thing happens, and this bad thing happens? You're like, anybody ever experience that? Mm-hmm. Universe responds to the frequency that you're emitting. Anybody had one of those days where good thing happens, 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 good thing happens? You're like, holy, how good does this get? Raise your hand. Universe responds to the frequency you are emitting. So why not emit a loving frequency? Why not decide that regardless of the circumstance that is happening in your reality, you will never find a negative thing about it. You will always find a way to flip your perspective into one that is positive. Why not live your life like that? Why not decide that every single day can be and should be the best day of your life, because it is truly the only day that you ever get to be alive. Yesterday is just this idea of what a today looked like in the past, but it's just this idea that's inside of our mind. Tomorrow is just this concept we try to use to explain a calendar date that we made up in our own heads. But today, this moment, is the only moment you will ever get to exist. Yesterday is a memory, tomorrow is a vision, the present is the truth. So why would you not try to make every single day the best day of your life? Why not try? Why not try to operate from a loving frequency? Why not try to love your partner more? Why not try to put aside your differences? Why not try to stop yourself from complaining about something even if you want to? Why not try to shift your perspective into a more positive one? Why not try to not complain about something even if you're right about it? Even if you have a reason to be upset about it? Even if you are 100% on point and you deserve to complain about it, why not stop yourself from saying that and shift your state into one that's more grateful? That is the life that I want to live. You have to begin the journey into your soul. You have to go within. And I can't teach you how to do that. That's not my job. That is your job and your job. I can guide you. I can share my own experience on how I did it, but you have to embark on your own path, because this is your life, your responsibility. You're a sovereign individual. That's a beautiful thing about life. We all get the freedom to choose our path, and our paths are wildly different, but you have to begin the journey into your soul. Some of the things that I did to get deep within, to do the work, Cole, I tried to put Cole on it, and he's like, that was stupid, bro. Never doing hypnosis again. But Cole found a way. It was his own way. He found a way to forgive his mother. He found a way to let go of his trauma. He found a way to let go of his pain. He found a way to let go of his frustration. He found a way to let go of his anger. And now we arrived at the same destination. We just took two different paths. You have to begin the journey into your soul. And I can't show you. I can only tell you why you need to. Because if you want to be rich, successful, wealthy, jacked, millions of followers, whatever goal you want to achieve, this isn't possible from a scarcity mindset. That is one thing I can absolutely 100%, no questions asked, state with 100% conviction. You will never get here if you are in scarcity. Ever. It will never happen. I'm 100% certain in that. So I can't tell you how you need to get there, but I can tell you that it's the most important journey you will ever embark on in your life. I can tell you that if you get deep and you go within and you learn how to love and you learn how to forgive and you show up every single day with passion, energy, intensity, and when people meet you, they can sense that it's real from you, I can promise you that when you get to that place, you are going to be unstoppable. It's like you speak, then it happens. So my journey was, I think everybody has things that they need to face. Most of us have 1, 2, maybe 5, 10 experiences that are really, really, really deep that cause us to think, act, behave, and treat others a certain way. And mine was this. My mom kicked me out when I was 8 years old. And from that moment at 8 years old until I was 24, I literally hated her. Absolutely despised, with so much anger, frustration, and resentment. How could she kick out her own blood? How could she let go of her oldest son? How could she so easily discard me like I was a piece of trash and just forget that I even existed? How could she separate me from my brothers and sisters at such a young age and take me away from the people that I grew up with? How could she call my grandma in front of me and say, if you don't pick him up, I'm gonna take him to foster care? How could she do that? I walked around with that for 15 years. And I was right. How could she? But here's the thing, right? I was right, and I self-sabotaged every single relationship that I got into. Every single one. We'd be going really good, and as soon as it was really good, bam, grenade. I'd find something. I don't like the way she looks at me when she does that. Or I'd go out and get drunk and cheat on her. Or I'd find some other way to absolutely ruthlessly sabotage it. Why? Because of this. I had a negative relationship with the first woman that brought me into this world. The first woman that I ever let into my heart. I hated her. So what do you think I was doing with my heart? I was guarding it. And anytime a woman got too close, I'd attack. Not physically, okay? Never physically, emotionally. I would find a way to deflect, defend, push away. I'd find a way to show her that we weren't meant to be together. And I did this over and over and over and over and over again until finally I looked at myself in the mirror. I took a 3-week-long trip to Bali. And while I was in Bali, I went to like a 2-day silent retreat because I was sad as f. And at this silent retreat, I remember feeling this like, when me and my ex broke up, I actually felt like there was like knives getting stabbed through my heart. And I remember I was like sitting there contemplating. I was like, I don't understand how I could date somebody for like 4 months. And then when we broke up, literally feel like my soul was leaving my body. I'm like, how does that happen? I'm like, that's weird. And then I was sitting there for 2 weeks in silent contemplation and I realized that was the feeling that I had when my mom kicked me out that I never let myself feel. And I burst into tears. And I finally let myself feel how I felt when my mom kicked me out. And once I let myself feel it and I processed it and I became one with it, I was able to release it. And I talk to my mom now. And we're not buddy-buddy, because just because you forgive someone doesn't mean that you let them back in to repeat the same patterns, especially if they are walking their own path and they are doing their own thing. Like, that's not up to me to decide what my mom does with her life. It's up to me to decide to live from a place of love. So I still talk to my mom. But I had to learn how to forgive her, because if I didn't, I was going to lose her. Because I did the same thing. I was doing the same thing to her. I went out to Calgary. I got blackout drunk. I kissed a girl and then I denied it. And I came back to Kelowna. And when I looked at her, I couldn't tell her the truth. So I just left. I couldn't look at her in the eyes. And when I got to Calgary, I was like hysterical. And I remember being there and I was like, if I don't face this, then I'm going to lose her. So I told her the truth about who I was, about why I was feeling this way. I apologized and I promised that I was never going to be that person again. And I held that promise. I did the work, went to therapy every week for 6 months, talked about how my mom made me feel. I let it out, processed the emotions that I felt towards my mother, processed the hate that I felt towards my mother, processed the pain that I felt towards my mother. And by processing that pain and actually letting myself feel it and letting myself go there, I was able to release it and become free. I freed myself. And because I freed myself, I didn't have to fight those feelings every day. When my mom would text me and I didn't feel that anymore. It was gone because I did the work and I went back to my past and I processed that trauma. I did the same thing with my success. Me and Cole started to become more and more successful. Things started to work out. Things were happening. But as things were happening, every day, I'm like, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. Why did I not deserve this? Because I was a drug addict. And so what? 8 years ago, you're sniffing cocaine off of a bar stool and now you just get to be a millionaire? 8 years ago, you f***ed over every single person that loved you and now you just get to be a millionaire? 8 years ago, you were literally a lying piece of shit and now you just think you get to be rich? So I went to hypnosis and I learned how to forgive myself and I learned how to let go and I learned how to understand that yeah, I made some mistakes, but I was doing the best that I could with the information that I had at the time. And I can't go back in time and change those things, but I can make the decision that I'm going to show up and become a different person. So I went back to that version of Brian Mark and I said, I forgive you. I forgive you. You didn't know what you were doing. I forgive you. I let go of my anger towards you. I no longer am going to hold this weight. I'm going to release it. I'm going to let it go. And when I let that go, not just financially, but like emotionally, in my relationships, my connection to Cole, my connection to my wife, my connection to myself. I used to not be able to be in an empty space, empty room by myself without destructive thoughts sneaking into my mind. I used to not be able to sit alone in silence without destructive thoughts seeping into my mind. Now I love it. I love being in silence. And it's just me and myself because I'm just driving around. I'm like, I love you. Life is great. Life is great. I love you. I let go of all of the fear that is inside of me and I embraced what I truly am, love. I met those versions of me with love, compassion, forgiveness, empathy, understanding, and I released them. I went back to that little 8-year-old version of Brian and I told him, I was like, I know you don't understand what's going on right now, but like all of this is going to work out for you. And I love you and you are loved and you are love and everything's going to be okay. And one day you're going to be a leader of men and you're going to inspire, you're going to lead, you're going to impact. And I gave that little a hug, gave him the love that he deserved. I became friends with my subconscious soul instead of denying that it exists or pretending that it wasn't there. I became one with myself instead of having cognitive dissonance in my mind, which basically means you've got two conflicting ideas, right? You've got this part of you that's like, I want to be successful. And then the other part of you is like, you're a piece of shit. And then they're both in the same place at the same time. It's not going to work. I want to be successful. It's not going to work. I want to be successful. It's not going to work. I want to be successful. How do you guys feel like that? It's called cognitive dissonance. I became one with me. And yes, I still get those thoughts, but I embrace them. Hey. I love you. You got this. Hey, let that go. That's not true. Hey. Growth must be approached from an inside out, outside in perspective. I believe in inside out. I also believe in outside in. So inside out is yes, I do believe in those 30-minute morning rituals. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I do believe in that. I think if you shift your state every single day to start every single morning, you're going to set yourself up to win throughout the day. I believe in that 100%. All the while understanding that this is only 1/10 of the equation. I also believe that you must become aware of your dominant thoughts throughout the day and systematically and constructively change your thoughts when they do not serve you. So that is outside in, right? I'm going to do the work externally and it's going to go in. This is a mindset and I want to give you guys, okay? So there's true and then there's useful, all right? So don't seek what's true, seek what's useful. Here's what I mean by this. You're having a great day, right? You're driving your car, whatever, having a great day. Somebody cuts you off in traffic and fingers you. But is that useful? It might be true, but is it useful? Will that thought of that guy, he's a piece of shit, whatever, will that thought be positive and constructive for your own day? Will that thought allow you to move through your own day, staying in that place of love and abundance? Probably not. Don't seek what's true, seek what's useful. Oh, that guy's having a bad day. Well, I'm not going to let that guy ruin my day. I'm going to have the best day of my life. Moving on. That's useful. There's true, and then there's useful. Don't seek what's true, seek what's useful. This is the frame that you use to shift your state, right? Because throughout the day, there's 15.5 hours. So you have to become aware of your default and dominant emotional state. And then throughout the day, systematically and constructively shifting your state. When you catch yourself in a state that is not constructive and will not lead you to love where you're supposed to be, where you deserve to be, you must shift your state so that you can get closer to abundance. Because again, you can't have all the things that you want while being in scarcity. Well, how do you get to abundance? Abundance is love. So if you shift from fear to love, automatically you get closer to the things that you want. So this is the thing. It's like, I don't seek to be right, and I never complain about what's true. I speak about what's useful. I don't seek to be right, and I don't complain about what's true. I speak about what's useful. But this is where the real work is, right? This like becoming one with your subconscious soul, the benevolent stranger that you walk around with on a day-to-day basis that you pretend is not there. Becoming one with that version of you, embracing that version of you, not hiding from your shadow self, not being ashamed of your past, not being ashamed of the person that you used to be, but embracing the person that you used to be, because without that motherfucker, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. That version of you that you're so angry about, without that motherfucker, you wouldn't be here. You would not be here. So embrace, love, have reverence for. Learn to forgive yourself. Learn to forgive others. You might have had somebody f you over in the past multiple times. Is that useful to hold on to? Is that going to be conducive to you living in a state of abundance? Is that going to be conducive to you living in a state of love? Learn to forgive others. Let go of hate in your heart. It does not serve you. I know that because this is something that I practice all the time. Anytime I feel hate in my heart coming up, I practice, I just release, I let go. It's not serving me. Remove anger towards others. Guy cuts you off in traffic, you're right, he's a dick, so what? You smash your phone, that sucks. You have to buy a new phone, cost $2,000. So what? That's life. Remove anger towards yourself. You f***ed up, you were inconsistent, something happened, and now you're so angry at yourself, you're an idiot. You just had to be consistent and you'd be successful. Is that productive? Is that conducive? Will that lead you to love? Let it go. Do the internal work. Same blueprint, different results. What makes the difference? You. The difference is where you are. Where are you? Not where you pretend to be, not where you wish you were, not where you hope to be, because all of that has no relevance to where you are right now. Where are you? Here's some resources that have been useful for me, and maybe they'll be useful for you too. So I did therapy. I did 6 months of therapy. I did couples therapy too with Kirst to work on my trauma. Hypnosis. I've got a girl that's awesome. You guys can email her, Shannon@hypnoticsoul.com. She's 10 out of 10. Who here uses Shannon? Yeah, it's like half the room, right? Mindset coaching programs. So I've worked with a guy for 12 weeks on a mindset coaching program that changed my life. Yoga. I did yoga for like a 60-day sprint, and it completely transformed my life and my mind and the way that I see things. Gratitude journals. I keep a gratitude journal every single day, and I write in them every night to express thanks for myself. Vision videos. I have a vision video of myself that I listen to literally every single day, expressing gratitude for all the goals that I'd like to achieve. Meditation daily, every day, 7 days a week for 15 minutes minimum. Joe Dispenza. I listen to 30 minutes of Joe Dispenza every single day. That's a game changer. I've done 5-MeO, which is basically like DMT. Kenny also did it. So did Stevie. What else have I done? Traveling. This is why I told you to go on that trip by yourself. Sometimes the best way to meet yourself is to go on an adventure with you and yourself, because you sure as meet yourself there. Right? So traveling is a really good way as well, getting to know yourself.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram @TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.